Hi, I'm Curtis Coleman, President of the Institute for Constitutional Policy. His name is Nick Adams. He is an enormously successful young man from Sydney, Australia. Nick has continually overcome tremendous odds and defeated enormous adversity to be where he is today. His story is one of great inspiration, and he made time in his currently packed schedule a tour of the United States to stop by and visit the Institute. Nick, we're so delighted to have you with us here today, and thank you for taking time to stop by. You're on a speaking tour and a book tour of the United States, and you have a very interesting new book about American exceptionalism. Tell us about the tour and about the book, if you will.
Well, this is the third time that I visited the United States, and on all three occasions I have conducted a speaking tour. And the purpose of my speaking tour, and the reason why I decided to embark on these completely self-funded speaking tours, is that the absence of a pro-American international voice with the moral fibre, fortitude and spine to speak the truth, to say it how it is, frustrated and disappointed me no end. Let's face it, America is the greatest good in this world. It is a force and source of fundamental goodness, and it spreads this goodness to all quarters of our planet. And yet the international community treats America routinely with contempt, scorn, derision, suspicion, and a complete and utter lack of gratitude. And I don't for one moment suggest to the American people or the people that are watching this video that they should be remotely distressed or slightly bothered by these offensively ignorant invectives that come from people that are ridden with envy. But I know that the reality can be different, and I know that it can be tough. You've got a media that's always telling you how bad you are. You've got this emergence of an ideology of relativism, cultural relativism, that somehow no one culture is superior to any other. You're not allowed to say that America is exceptional, or that American exceptionalism exists. And that is just complete and total nonsense. And that is why I fear so much for America, which is why I have decided to do what I am doing, and that is to remind Americans of their greatness, tell them that they have nothing to be ashamed of and everything to be proud of, that they should not change, and they must, whatever the cost, continue to believe in their own exceptionalism. Because the moment that they stop doing that, the second that they cease to believe in their own exceptionalism, is that same moment that they will become like virtually every other nation in the Western world, weak, soft, limp-wristed, bloated, and with their populations all virtually hooked up to a government welfare dialysis machine.
Wow. Well, I'm assuming then that you believe that Americans need to hear this message, that there's been a degradation and a decay of the American sense of exceptionalism.
Well, that's right. Everywhere where I go, and it doesn't matter whether I'm on the West Coast, the East Coast, down south, up north, the message is the same wherever I go. People tell me, Nick, this is a message that we really need to hear. I mean, we never hear from an international person with a funny sounding accent that we are a great nation. All we are constantly told of is how much we have done wrong, how many people we have wronged, and in what way we have wronged them. And we never hear great stuff about America. No one ever comes and tells us how much they admire and love and appreciate what we do. And, you know, the funny thing in all this is that I'm only telling the truth. And it's a pretty self-evident and logical truth. The only problem is the truth is pretty rare these days. And unfortunately, no one has the spine to come out and to simply say, America, thank you. America, God bless you. America, you do so many great things for the world. You are a shining light in our world, and you know, we appreciate everything that you do. So I'm trying to make the smallest contribution that I can make to America. Because here's the thing, America is the beacon of hope and freedom for the entire world, no doubt about it. But that beacon of hope and freedom has to be shining here on the home front first. And as an Australian, it might seem like a pretty unique project and a pretty unique objective for me to be trying to let that beacon shine brightly here. But you know, America is, what is good for America is good for the world. And if America is suffering, the world is suffering. If America is weak, then the world is weak. And that is something that we cannot afford.
Thank you, Nick. I've been saying to people around the country and around Arkansas that I believe that these midterm elections that are now just over a month away may be the most important and critical elections in my lifetime. Because I believe that what we decide to do in these elections may very well determine the future of freedom for this generation and yet to be born generations of millions of Americans. What is your view of what's happening in the United States during this midterm election season?
America right now is going through a time of an enormous test. The test that stands before America is the test that will see and determine whether or not American leadership and dominance continues throughout this century and beyond. And the test is simple, but it is so significant, words could not possibly do justice to it. And the test is this: will America stay true? Will it exercise fidelity to the principles that lie at the bedrock of its nation? Will it remain true and loyal to the most important document, the most successful document in the world's history, the US Constitution? Will it do these things? And I think that this fall of discontent that Americans are having right now, here in the month of September, only 40 days out from these midterm elections, these are the issues that people are worried about. People recognise that, yes, this is America's ultimate test. There is right now great concern about what many people view as an unprecedented attack on freedom, as an unprecedented attack on American exceptionalism, of a path that many Americans feel that perhaps they shouldn't be going down. I have enormous respect for the office of the President of the United States, and I don't think that it's my job or role to sit here and attack the current administration or the President. I'll leave that to the people, which are Americans. But I will say this: America's identity is freedom. And freedom is the greatest subject and the greatest concept known to mankind. And Americans must do everything in their power to let freedom thrive, let freedom reign here in the United States. And if that means changing the face and changing the dynamics of the Congress and the Senate, then so be it.